Hey everyone, Andre here, and welcome back to Hibike Unshelved. If you're new here, this channel is all about Hibike Euphonium, so if you're a UFO fan, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button if you end up liking this video. So, this year we are getting the Sound Euphonium 3 compilation films, which will be covering the same story from Season 3 of Kumiko's senior year of high school. We don't know yet how many films the 13 episodes of Season 3 will be condensed down into, but we do know that there will be multiple, as the first movie set to release on April 24th in Japan is titled Sound Euphonium The Final Movie Part 1, or in Japanese, 最終楽章 Hibike Euphonium Zenpen, which literally means the final movement, Sound Euphonium Part 1. And the question is, will these movies just be simple compilation films reusing the same footage from the TV series with little to no changes or additions? Or is KyoAni cooking up something more special for their flagship show's final movement? Last month in January, they held the 9th regular concert for Hibike Euphonium and announced some new information on the upcoming movie, and there's surprisingly a lot to go over. So today, let's go over everything we know about these films, and while we're at it, do some light speculation. First up, I want to look at the 3 key visuals we've seen so far of the final movie Part 1. Actually, I'm going to stop calling it the final movie Part 1 because that sounds stupid. I know that's the official English title, but in Japanese it's the final movement Part 1, and that makes more sense to me, so let's just go with that. Anyway, for Sound Euphonium The Final Movement Part 1, we've seen 1 teaser visual and 2 key visuals so far. In the teaser visual, we see Kumiko leaping into the air full of excitement with her euphonium. The release date just says 2026 here, since this came out with the initial announcement last year and no solid date was revealed at that point yet. Roadshow, by the way, is just the Japanese English term for theatrical rollout or only in theaters. The tagline on the teaser visual reads, "Ongaku wa owaranai," or the music isn't over. Other than that, there's not much to speculate about with this visual. It's a pretty vague teaser image. I gotta say though, this is probably my favorite of the 3 visuals we've gotten so far, and honestly, one of my favorite illustrations of Kumiko maybe ever. It just feels so dynamic and full of life. My profile picture is actually inspired by it too. Anyway, let's move on to the first key visual. With this poster, we got the official confirmation that this film will be a part 1 of a multi-film series, as it says Zenpen down in the corner here, and that the release date is set for April 24th, 2026 in Japan. It's important to note that so far we have no confirmation on the total number of films this final movement will be. Most likely it's just going to be 2 films. That's the model that the Bocchi the Rock and the Girls Band Cry compilation films followed, and those are both based on 13 episode series like Sound Euphonium Season 3 is. On the other hand, why wouldn't KyoAni just announce from the outset what the total number of films will be? I don't know. Anyway, the image showcases Kumiko and Reina taking on the torch of their senpais, the previous club leaders Haruka and Asuka, and Yuko and Natsuki. I do find it a little funny that Shuichi is not on this poster, despite being Kumiko's vice president, but yeah, we all know who's more important to her. The tagline on this visual reads, "Kono kiseki ga tsugi no kyoku ni naru," or "This path will lead to the next piece," or the next song. One thing I think is kind of interesting is that the part 1, or Zenpen, is not part of the movie's logo, as if it's not part of the movie's title. To me, that probably indicates that KyoAni is treating this film series as just one big movie released in multiple parts and not as like multiple separate movies. Kind of like how Quentin Tarantino views his Kill Bill films, I guess. Case in point, key visual number 2 showcases Kitaoji's band members performing at Nationals, as we can see from the Nagoya Congress Center building in the background. It feels pretty weird that they're showcasing the Nationals performance from episode 13 for the key visual for the first movie. Like, you would think part 1 would only get at most about halfway through season 3, which would bring them to the Kyoto prefectural competition at the end of episode 6. I also find it interesting that both Satsuki and Kanade are both here on the poster performing, when Satsuki failed the first audition and Kanade failed the second and third, if you remember. It's also interesting that they're showing the sunset-colored Uji River in the background, which to me calls to mind episode 9. But again, I doubt they're getting that far in this first movie. And I think the most rational explanation for all this is that KyoAni is treating this whole movie series as a single film released in multiple parts. So the key visuals will showcase story elements from all of season 3. Anyway, the tagline for this key visual says, "Jinsei de saikou no 12 本の," the best 12 minutes of your life, or the best 12 minutes of their lives. Which, this is gonna be a pretty short movie. No, I'm just kidding. The 12 minutes refers to the time limit of the competition performances, as each band must perform their assigned piece and their free piece in under 12 minutes. and you better give it the best performance of your life. Let's move on to the trailer. So there's a couple teaser trailers and one main trailer so far for The Final Movement Part 1. The main trailer was released on October 25th, 2025, and to be honest, I didn't pay that much attention to any of the trailers initially because I thought they were all footage from the show that we had already seen before. But on closer inspection for the main trailer, there's actually some new stuff in here, so let's take a look. Most of the trailer is footage that we've seen before, from not just season 3, but all the previous seasons and movies, showcasing the challenges and victories that Kitauji has faced so far. But the trailer also starts off with these brand new shots of what looks to me like backstage at Nationals. We know it's not from the Kyoto Prefectural Competition in episode 6 because Kanade would be performing here, and I don't think it's from the Kansai Regional Competition from episode 10. These look like newly created moments during this scene in episode 13 at the national competition, which again makes me wonder how far this part 1 film is gonna get, because like there's no way they're covering all of season 3 in part 1, right? Right? That would imply that the part 2 film takes place after season 3. Now, maybe this could just be like a flash forward, or again, I think this is just further evidence that KyoAni is treating all of the movies as one big movie, and the promotional material will just be advertising scenes from across all of the films, which is not confusing at all. The end of the trailer also has this shot of someone's hand reaching out to a light above, which I believe is also new, but feel free to correct me if you recognize this shot from somewhere. Alright, next, let's jump onto the official website. If you go to anime-ufo.com, you can see all the information available for the movie right now. Here's the latest key visual, they're advertising the movie ticket cards here, which I'll explain a bit later. Here's a trailer, news, the movie introduction, cast and staff list, and character profiles. I think the most interesting thing here is the movie introduction, which kind of explains what this movie series is from KyoAni's point of view. Here's the English translation by Anime News Network, which I edited a little to hue slightly closer to the Japanese. It says, "The series conclusion is here. This path leads to the next piece. For 10 years, the Sound Euphonium series has depicted the youthful lives of high school students devoted to concert band. Following the emotional finale of Sound Euphonium 3 broadcast in 2024, the story reaches its ultimate conclusion in 2026 with a theatrical release, The Final Movement. The Final Movement is led by Chief Director Tatsuya Ishihara, who has guided Kyoto Animation's production team throughout the past 10 years, and Director Taichi Ogawa, who has been an integral part of the series' creative core. Along with Kyoto Animation polishing up the main animation sequences, Juki Anada has newly written the screenplay and numerous new scenes have been added, including performance scenes that were never shown in the TV series. The production team has collaborated to make a film that lives up to the title, The Final Movement. 10-year-long journey, now looking towards the future. The curtain rises on the culminating final year of the anime Sound Euphonium. Sound Euphonium The Final Movement Part 1 opens Friday, April 24th, 2026. So obviously, this sentence has the most stuff to chew on. Along with Kyoto Animation polishing up the main animation sequences, Juki Anada has newly written the screenplay and numerous new scenes have been added, including performance scenes that were never shown in the TV series. Obviously, one of the biggest complaints people had about UFO Season 3 was the fact that there were basically no band performance scenes until the very last episode when Kitauji is performing at Nationals. Clearly, KyoAni is well aware of that complaint, and I would wager that some staff members even had that concern internally. Personally, I was totally fine with the general lack of performance scenes because Season 3's plot was pretty dense, and that lack also made the final performance scene feel way more special. But I'm also one of the people who was disappointed we didn't get the full Sunrise Festival performance, or we didn't get it at all really in episode 4, and I certainly wouldn't complain if these movies also gave us stuff like a Bunkasai performance or a Kyoto Station performance like we got in season 2. It's also interesting that it says KyoAni is polishing up animation and Juki Hanada, the screenwriter for UFO, is newly writing the screenplay and adding in numerous new scenes. Now to be fair, that could just be marketing speak like, hey, you should watch these movies even if you already watched season 3 because there's gonna be tons of new content. Arguably the previous 2 compilation films for seasons 1 and 2, Welcome to the Kitauji High School Wind Ensemble and May the Melody Reach You, are also slightly rewritten and have new scenes, but I think most fans will tell you that those films are basically skippable because the amount of new content doesn't actually add up to a dramatically different experience than seasons 1 and 2 originally offered. At the same time, the introduction for both of those two previous compilation films don't use the same language to describe the changes between them and their TV season counterparts. So, I don't know, maybe there really are more substantial changes and additions to the Final Movement films than we're expecting. Who knows? Let's take a peek at the cast and staff list. First up, there are no changes to the cast, as expected. It's important to note though that for the previous compilation films, they did have the voice actors re-record their old lines, or at least some of them, in addition to recording new lines for the additional scenes, so we can probably expect the same for these films. As far as the staff goes, there are very few changes as well. One change is that Minoru Ota will not be the sole instrument animation director as he was for season 3, and his role for the final movement will be shared by Nobuaki Maruki, who is the animation director of episodes 6, 11, and 13 of UFO 3. Minoru Ota was also the episode co-director for episode 10 of UFO season 3, and he is currently serving as the series director for KyoAni's main TV show this year, Sparks of Tomorrow, which explains why he isn't focused on the final movement. I'm happy for his promotion, and I'm looking forward to Sparks of Tomorrow, which is supposed to come out in July on Netflix. The only other difference in the staff list that we can see is that Norihiro Tomiita, UFO's 3D CG director since Chikai no Finale, is being replaced by Rin Yamamoto, who has been a 3D artist on almost every UFO episode and movie, so they're very experienced. Not sure why Tomiita isn't working on this movie. Perhaps he's also on Sparks of Tomorrow or another KyoAni project. Also, just like the rest of the series, including the previous movies, it was confirmed that True will be returning to do the theme songs for the Final Movement films. In fact, the theme song for part 1 is already out digitally, and there's even an official AMV on the KyoAni YouTube channel. One interesting thing to note about this theme song, which will probably play over the end credits, is that the title is To Coda, which is remarkably similar to Re-Coda, the opening of season 3. And in a statement True posted to Twitter, she explained that the lyrics of Re-Coda were from the perspective of an adult Kumiko looking back on her high school band days, whereas To Coda, the new song, is told from high school Kumiko's perspective, dealing with her present day issues and looking towards her future. Now, if you're in Japan right now, or you're going to be there at any point between now and this movie's release on April 24th, you do have the opportunity to get a movie ticket card with a UFO design on it and a free bonus merch item at a participating theater. I actually did that for Ensemble Contest back when I was in Japan a few months before that movie came out. Movie ticket cards, by the way, are basically just one-time ticket vouchers. Just go up to any register and they should be able to help you. The participating theater list is here on the UFO website, which again is anime-ufo.com. Finally, we are expecting some more news and information soon. At Anime Japan, which is a big, well, anime event in Japan, there will be a UFO stage event with the voice actors on March 29th at 4:15 p.m. Japan time, which I think will probably stream on the Pony Canyon YouTube channel. We'll see. For my viewers in the US, that's March 29th at 12:15 a.m. So assuming they're streaming it, it's gonna be a late night for us. Anyway, that took a lot longer than I expected to go through all that information. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to see these movies, even if they don't end up changing or adding anything substantial. I'm excited to re-experience season 3 on the big screen. That is assuming we get that opportunity. Crunchyroll showed the Dragon Maid movie here in the US for one night, so I'm hopeful that they'll do the same for these upcoming UFO movies. Then again, we still don't have any legal way to watch Ensemble Contest in the US 3 years after it came out. No streaming, no theatrical, no home video, nothing. My dream is that G-Kids acquires these UFO movies for distribution, since they always do a great job and show that they really care about the shows and movies they license. They technically have the rights to Listen to Bluebird now, so maybe they're interested in the other UFO movies. That's my dream scenario. Anyway, let's all pray that the Final Movement becomes available in some form in our countries. And with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Support the channel here, links in the description. If you haven't seen my hour-long video analysis on Hibike Euphonium 3 and how it earned that controversial ending, I'll leave it up here. All right, have an awesome day and let the next piece begin.